All right, and welcome back to Too Fast, Too Fast, Too Fast. And up next, we have Pokemon Sword, run by Conception SR, and we've got Ness underscore on commentary. How are you both doing today?
I am doing great. I hope everyone out there is doing well as well. Yep, my name is Conception SR, and then I do have with me the legendary Ness underscore. If you want to say hi.
Yeah, I'm Ness underscore the man, the myth, the legend. We got the dynamic duo back again to do some more Tekken marathon runs. So.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time for these next couple runs with this mini concept block. So as you can see here, we start in our switch clock here. We have to set the time to a very specific time before the run starts. So we're gonna hop in here. I'm gonna pick our character, and then time is going to start once I select yes after putting in my character's name. You might have noticed we have a bid war open as well. We'll just put 2FAST here. Why not? We have a bid war open as well for Bulbasaur versus Squirtle. That doesn't need to be over until about an hour or so into the run, maybe a little less. So if you still want to see me pick Bulbasaur versus Squirtle,
name her Lucky. You gotta name.
Okay,
her
I'll name her Lucky. No worries.
No, name her Little Lou, but just Lu.
Okay, so
just name her Lu. Just Lu.
Lu. Honestly, the less characters, technically the faster we go. So,
yeah,
perfect.
That's my cat. Lu.
Lu. There we go. All right, so time is going to start here. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Yeah, so like I was saying, we at one point we are going to be getting a Bulbasaur versus a Squirtle. We're going to get to pick one or the other. Not at the start of the game. It's about, like I said, a little less than an hour into the game. So you have time to donate if you want to see one or the other. So get your donations in for that. But otherwise, yeah, this is Pokemon Sword, Gen 8. This is specifically, the category name is Tower of Two Fists, and even more specifically, it's the Get Urshifu category. It's also referred to as the good ending for the DLC. Technically, there is a bad ending where you don't get Urshifu. That's a little faster, but this is the good ending version. But yeah, we start a file from fresh, and then we're gonna take a little journey. We're gonna start the game as you would normally in a normal speed run of the the any percent variety if you're gonna do the base game, and then as soon as we're able, we're gonna hop on over to the Isle of Armor, which is the game's first DLC, and then we're gonna complete all of the story missions for that, and the run ends with us evolving Kubfu into an Urshifu, and then after the cutscene ends, that's when time will end. Ness, we could talk a little bit about the two main routes that we can use in this run, and the route that I'm going to be choosing to use if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, so just to be clear, the Squirtle versus Bulbasaur bid war is not for the starter, because
Correct.
our starter is going to be Sobble every time, because Sobble is just really good in this game. Yeah, so in every route, in every major route at least, we do take Sobble as a starter. There is technically a faster route, but it's like less consistent because it relies on stats and stuff. Where you do get Sobble, you just ride Sobble until you get Kubfu, then grind Kubfu up. But you can also start Sobble, then once you get to the wild area, you can get Vulpix, then evolve that into Ninetales and get a bunch of moves and stuff. Since Stone evolutions are actually kind of OP, where you can teach it every move in its learn set, even if it's like level 2 and you just evolve a Vulpix with a Firestone. So we're gonna have a pretty busted moveset for most of the game.
Yes, we are. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really like doing the Ninetales route over the Sobble route. Just like Ness said as well, if we did the Sobble route, it'd be a little bit more dependent on our stats. We might even have to reset from a save file if we didn't get a Sobble that was good enough. We would need to make sure our special attack was high enough to get us all the way to the end part where we have to use Kubfu from that point forward. And we don't want to reset for starters here, especially because we would have to save and then go through 2 minutes of cutscenes to be able to see if the stats are any good at all. It wastes a lot of time. We really don't want to do it. But now we're finally going to be getting control of our character, and honestly, arguably one of the hardest parts for me in the run is changing our settings. So we're going to go into our settings, try and change these fast. That went pretty well. We alter a lot of settings here. If you're at all familiar with Pokemon speedrunning at all, it's pretty common. We adjust things like our text speed to make it go fast. We turn off, we change the battle style from shift to set, which means that it won't ask us in between every Pokemon we defeat if we want to change Pokemon. We do this thing that's unique to this game, which is turn off movies, which means it turns off all cinematic movies. It doesn't remove cutscenes or anything like that. We turn off the ability to give nicknames because that wastes time. You know, all these options that just speed up the run, basically. And oftentimes I'll miss one or something like that, or I'll flub the menu and I end up losing like 5 seconds just because I can't menu correctly. So I'm glad we were able to do it pretty well. But yeah, this is Hop. Ness, how do you feel about Hop? What's your opinion on Hop?
A lot of people don't like the rivals in the new games, but I definitely unapologetically really like all the new rivals, Hop included. Hop is great. Hop was my profile picture for a while, so I'm definitely a Hop fan.
I'm gonna big agree with that. I actually think Hop is one of the better rivals we've seen in a long time. The only thing I will say is from a speedrun perspective, he can be frustrating. And we'll get a little bit into that when we actually have to fight him in a little bit. But there are some things that he does that can make us lose time and they're out of our control. And obviously he loves to gab. So, but you know, everyone has to deal with Hop gabbing, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't make us lose time or gain time in particular. But yeah, Hop is a very good rival on IMO.
Yeah, I do want to mention Hop 100% just has drip. Like, Hop dresses, you know. Not many other rivals like dress like Hop does.
It was funny from my perspective, right as you said that Hop has drip, and then he like did that hands behind the head pose thing that he just did, and I was like, oh, he knows he has drip. Look at him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like got complete swag over there, and I actually do have to agree that I know some people don't like because of like how much he gabs, but I actually thought that like Hop was a really neat like friend and rival in the whole game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like if you play through the base game, he has a decently nuanced story. Where he kind of goes through this journey of dealing with all these defeats that he does because we keep beating him, obviously, in order to progress our story. And he kind of has to deal with the fact that he keeps losing, but, you know, and then he kind of comes to terms with that. He might not be the very best, but he's still pretty good, so. And he's trying to live up to his brother, Leon, who is here and is the current Pokemon League champion. So that's, you know, he's kind of hiding in the shadow of that, and then we're beating him too, so he deals with a lot. So he has a pretty good arc. But
also,
yeah, go ahead.
Just a reminder that Charizard is 5'7". Leon is taller than his Charizard.
Yeah, Charizard canonically 5'7", not that tall. See, there you go. We're almost as tall as Charizard. From this perspective, it looks like we're taller, but we're I don't think we are. We're a child, but
yeah, that is an 11-year-old.
Well, I mean, it looks close. I mean, we're standing in front of him, so that's part of it, but.
Yeah, I don't know how like Gen 8 Charizard is canonically way smaller than original Gen 1 Charizard. I don't know how that works. Like just if you watch the anime version of it, it's like Charizard is way bigger.
True, but Ash is also 10 years old, so.
True.
Yeah,
fair point.
Yeah, it's it doesn't surprise me if they change things on the fly anyway, though. They're just like, oh yeah, all of a sudden Charizard is short.
Yeah, I have good news for you though, because Gigantamax Charizard is very big.
Yeah, we got to see that a little bit in the opening cutscene. Actually, that's a good segue. So Gigantamaxing, or Dynamaxing, which is the kind of gimmick move of Gen 8. Pretty cool. I don't mind it. It's not Mega Evolutions, which is my favorite, but it's still pretty cool. We will get to use Dynamaxing one time only in the run. But we will get to use it, so if you're here for the Dynamaxing or the Gigantamaxing, you will not be disappointed. Which, all right, I'm glad we had all this banter because it got us through all of the opening cutscene stuff, and we're about to have our first fight finally. One interesting thing I'll point out there, as well as we mentioned up top, we chose Sobble. One thing I really like about this game, if you ever had any guilt about one Pokemon always being left behind on the table, you know, think back to Gen 1, you pick a Pokemon, your rival does, and then that other Pokemon just sits on Oak's table for the rest of time. This one makes it so that all 3 Pokemon are given a home, And it's also very interesting because typically your rival will pick the Pokemon that is the stronger type advantage against you. So for example, we picked Sobble. You would think that Hop would have picked Grookey for the grass advantage, but he actually picks Scorbunny and he's weaker against us, and Leon takes the Grookey. So we would have to deal with that, you know, and later on in the base game when we have to fight Leon a couple times. But for now, we're into the Hop fight. We've got 2 Pokemon, Wooloo and the aforementioned Scorbunny. There's really not much to this fight, especially since we're going to do the Ninetales route. We don't really care about our stats for Sobble. Doesn't particularly matter. I'll be able to tell you if we have good special or not in a second, but yeah, from the time we picked Sobble till now, this is when we would figure out what our stats are. So it's like 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. Our special attack is okay. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. So yeah, we wouldn't want to have to do all of that to potentially have to reset and then do it again. Just a waste of time.
Yeah, resets in Pokemon games are typically like really bad. Like Gen 1, Gen 2 kind of take a while, but then like Sun and Moon and this game, they take actually forever.
Yeah, so long. And then I could reset, get a Sobble, and it'd still not be good enough, then we have to do it again. All of a sudden we're 6 minutes behind. No thanks. Not a fan. That's why I like doing this Ninetales route. But yeah, that's Hop down. In this speed run, we will be fighting Hop 2 times, that being the first time. So we will fight him 1 more time. But then we won't really see Hop much anymore after we hop over to the DLC. So
You
I get it.
hop
After
over
we
to the
hop
DLC.
over.
Yeah.
Hop over. Oh, that's so funny.
I am hilarious. Yes. This next
Comedy god.
Yeah, that I've been told. This next part is no other way to describe it besides it's a glorified interactive cutscene, because there's nothing we can do to change the outcome of it, and we don't really have any control. So what this is we head into the Slumbering World. If you go back a few minutes where we first stepped outside, there was a Wooloo bashing itself against this gate trying to get through. It was able to succeed, and we are compelled to try and help the Wooloo to make sure it's fine. So we're going to go through the Slumbering World here. There's some grass patches. We're going to guaranteed hit 3 encounters. They're always the same Pokemon, so it's going to be Squovit, Rookidee, and Squovit. They are different in terms of stats and abilities, though, so they're not set in that regard. In fact, actually, so we run from the Squovit. The second one we hit is the Rookidee, which is a bird. We're actually going to hope it doesn't have the Unnerve ability. Unnerve is an ability that will make it so that you can't use berries in a fight, but it also tells you at the beginning of the fight that the Rookidee has Unnerve. So it's an extra couple text boxes if it has it, which we don't want. It does, of course. So it just wastes like about a second. Maybe even less somehow. And then the third one is a Squovit. Again, if you're playing casually, you can actually like battle, fight, and catch these Pokemon, so that's why their stats and abilities differ, but they will always pop up in this order, in this, the same 3 Pokemon. I don't even think you can like just keep walking around the grass and get more. I think only those 3 will pop up. I'm pretty sure, but I've never tried, so I don't know. Then we head farther into the foggy area, and then we just meet one of the legendaries and have a faux battle.
Something that we didn't mention before, and it's gonna come up again later. In the Hop fights, Hop talks a lot, and like I think it's like every time you crit or something, and there's like one for like type effective moves and stuff.
Yep.
He just like talks, and I know that if you like get a crit, it's honestly like not really worth it most of the time because you can still like beat Hop in the same amount of turns.
Yeah.
So you really want to hope for like not getting crits and stuff in like Hop battles.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I haven't timed it out exactly myself, but like if I crit one shot his Scorbunny, I honestly don't know if it's faster or not than 2-shotting it, because he would also not only would the crit dialogue pop up, which takes like a full 2 seconds on its own, just like the box. Then you'd have to deal with him being like, oh, that was a powerful hit. Oh man, oh geez, or something. I don't know what he says, but it's a bunch and it takes some time, so it's almost not worth it. And then we'll see in his second fight that he actually has another dialogue that's RNG to pop up based on what move his Scorbunny uses. So Yeah, that is what I mean by hop can be frustrating from a speedrunning perspective, but from a casual perspective, I like hop. I like hop quite a bit.
Yeah, I've never ran Gen 8, so I do like hop a lot. But I know that if I ever do, I probably would just hate him.
Yeah, well, that's why I really like this category, because like, if you play any percent, you got to fight hop like I think it's like 9 or 10 times. It's quite a bit. It's a lot of times. But in this category, I fight him twice, and then I don't have to worry about him. So.
Now I have a question. Are there any major differences, especially in the early game, between like sword and shield?
Yeah, so in this category, there are massive differences actually, but not so much in the beginning of the game. Actually, those will stay the same. But if you play the shield version, so basically we'll get into this a little bit more later. But also we can talk a little bit about now. The DLC gives you a different kind of antagonist slash rival character, and those characters are different depending on which version of the game you play. So we're playing Sword, and that's going to give us Klara, and Klara is a poison type specialist. So she'll have all poison based Pokemon. If we play the Shield version, then we will be fighting Avery, and Avery is a psychic type specialist. It doesn't matter as much time wise. Usually it will equal out more or less. It's still it's a RNG dependent run, so it doesn't really matter which version you use. So, you know, if you only have one version of the game, you want to try to start learning the speedrun, it doesn't really matter. You can do it on either. But you will have a lot of differences with the Pokemon that you're facing when you fight your rival, quote unquote, 3 times in the DLC and things like that. So there are quite a few differences. We are here in Route 1 now, and we want to catch preferably Wooloo, which we found, and preferably I would have loved level 6, but level 5 is almost just as good. And the reason why we want to catch a Pokemon here, Wooloo, come on. The reason why we want to catch a Pokemon here is twofold. One, if we catch especially a level 5 or 6 Wooloo, we're going to gain experience. In this game, you gain experience not only from defeating Pokemon, but from catching them as well. So we're going to get some experience here. And it's going to be enough to propel us to level 8 because this Wooloo was level 5. If it was level 4, we would still be level 7. So that's one reason. We get some XP, and that's going to make us go a little bit faster in these next couple trainers. The second reason is if we catch a Pokemon now, when we get to Route 2, Leon would attempt to give us a catching tutorial, which we definitely don't want. But now that we've already caught something, Leon's going to be like, oh, you already know how to catch. You've caught something already, so we don't have to do this catching tutorial. So it saves us time.
Yeah, this is like one of the only games I think where you can like skip the catching tutorial. I think you can skip it in Gen 2 and this game and Gen 1, right? You can skip it in Gen 1.
Yeah, I'm not as confident about yellow. I think you can skip it in yellow, but you definitely can in red and blue. Because I run Gen 1 glitchless as well. And yeah, you just walk right by the guy who was going to give you the catch tutorial. It's entirely optional.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to do it in at least Gen 4. The one in Gen 4 takes so long.
Yeah.
And I know at least another one, but you can't usually skip it, I think.
Everything in Gen 4 seems to take longer than it should.
Yeah.
So, like, even like the animation of the health bars draining on Pokemon is so slow. Just feels odd, but yeah, we just skip it here entirely, which is pretty cool because we don't need it. We don't need to do it. As much as I like this game as a whole, it does feel a little bit hand-holdy a lot of the times, which it makes sense because this is a game also designed for children who might never have played a Pokemon game before, so I get why it's hand-holdy. But yeah, as somebody who's played Pokemon for years, it's like, all right, I know what to do. Please let me move, please. But you know, it makes sense. So that is the assistant to the professor of the region. She gives us our Pokédex, and then we actually run around the corner there, and we're gonna grab a rare candy, which we may or may not use. Most likely we'll use just to be safe, but we'll see. If we do use it, it won't be until later into the run. So, and this is what I mean by the hand-holdy stuff. We got to go into a Pokemon Center and learn about Pokemon Centers now. I mean, come on. What am I new here?
I mean, it is a fresh file, so
I guess technically, I guess quite literally, I am new here. So in the Pokemon Center, we're gonna hit up our PC box because we're gonna deposit the Wooloo we just caught. We don't need it for anything. So, and if we had it in our party, it would take some of the XP that Sopple would be earning from these Pokemon coming up. So we don't need Wooloo stealing our thunder like that.
yeah, because this game has like a permanent like XP share, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Permanent, and you can't turn it off even.
Yeah, because I've not played this and I don't know very much.
Yeah. Yep.
But Wooloo is adorable.
Oh yeah, Wooloo is a great Pokemon. There is no hatred for Wooloo here. We just don't need it for the run, and I need my Sobble to get nice and beefy. So, well, not super beefy. We're not even gonna evolve the Sobble, but you know, beefy enough to go fast. So here is where Leon would have given us our catch tutorial, but instead he just gives us some Pokeballs and we'll be on our way. And now we're on Route 2. So Route 2 has 3 trainers on it, one of which we're going to skip. And the other 2 are entirely unavoidable. We would probably skip them if we could, but we can't. Here's the first one. They're not really of consequence. There's not really much that can go on. Just the fact that I'm level 8 is going to make it so that this first trainer is going to go faster automatically. If my special attack was good, I could 2-shot this Squovit. It seems more likely that I'll probably 3-shot it unless I get really good rolls. We'll see what kind of rolls I get. That's like directly in the middle. So we might 2-shot it, we might 3-shot it. If we didn't hit level 8, like if we caught something else that didn't, yeah, there it is, that didn't make us level 8, then we would definitely 3-shot it and even way more likely 4-shot it. So it speeds us up by at least a turn, if not up to 2 turns. So it makes this fight a little bit faster. If we had hit level 6, if we'd gotten a level 6 Wooloo, I should say, then we would have hit level 9 here, which would have made the next fight ever so slightly faster. But that's okay. Here's trainer.
I was not paying attention earlier. What's your special attack?
It's like I haven't looked at the number, but I looked at it a couple times in the first fight. It's like middling. At level 6 it was 13. At level 7 I think it was 14, or it might have been 15. I can't remember. It's like it's average. It's not great. Like I probably wouldn't run with the Sobble if it was the Sobble route.
Yeah.
Just because we would be struggling and probably have to heal too much and stuff. Here's the second trainer. We would just walk around behind it and making sure we don't hit any wild encounters and stuff. This second trainer that we actually fight has a Blip Bug for the first Pokemon and Nickit for the second one. Blip Bug is somewhat frustrating, only because it always uses Struggle Bug, and Struggle Bug is a move that lowers our special attack, which makes it so that our Water Gun does a little less damage because of that. But there's literally nothing you can do to avoid it. The only thing that you can do to get by it is if you happen to one-shot crit it, which has happened to me exactly one time. So it's not very likely. Also, as you can see, this Nickit likes to spam Quick Attack, which is fine as long as we don't get it on the last turn. Yay, there you go. Doesn't matter then.
Also, one thing that's way different in this game as opposed to like the older gens, usually you want to like go up to the trainers and talk to them in like the older gens, because it saves on like them walking, because they don't run, they just walk really slow. It sucks and it takes so long. But in this game you can kind of just walk, and if they see you they just battle you.
Yeah,
it kind of speeds up the game a lot more than you think it would.
Yeah, they don't walk up to you at all usually, and then even if you walked up to them and talked to them, the little exclamation point would still pop regardless. So it doesn't save any time walking up to them, because usually you would think, oh, at least you'd save on the animation of not having the exclamation point pop up, but it pops up regardless. So it doesn't matter. Might as well just walk your straight path so that you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, in Gen 1 especially, the animation for the exclamation point takes like I don't know how many, it might even be up to like a second. It feels like, I don't know, it seems slow. It seems entirely too slow. And then when they walk up to you, they walk at half your player speed, so it just takes so long. It's just so frustrating. But yeah,
even in like Diamond Pro, like cycling road, when you're like biking like super fast and you get seen by a trainer, they just like walk over. It's
on their
so
bikes,
slow.
on their bikes, walking speed on their bikes.
That's not even how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, you're not doing it right. All right, so hop fight number 2. Not too much going on here tech-wise. It's actually just going to be water gun to win for us. The only variance in RNG comes from that point I was talking about before with Hop's Score Bunny. So we're going to two-shot this Wooloo, which is entirely normal. But then we're going to get to the Score Bunny. One, based off of our speed, we could speed tie it. I didn't look at our speed because I didn't really care about the stats. It seems like our speed's good enough, so we might not speed tie it. But the second thing is there is an instance of Hop talking depending on what move Score Bunny chooses here. We want tackle. We got Ember, unfortunately. And the reason why I can tell before the move even pops up is because he says this, have this taste of true power. Our fire is burning bright, blah, blah, blah. You know, just perfectly anime voice line. Not even a voice line. There's no one talking. But he only will say that if he chooses Ember with Score Bunny. If he chooses tackle, that voice line doesn't pop up at all. So that's one of those frustrating Hopisms. And then this Rookie D is, again, of no consequence. Always has on nerve, so we don't get any choice in that one. And then two-shot it to win, unless we crit, I guess. But crits don't happen as often in this game as they do, especially in like Gen 1, for example. We don't get as many crits. We still hit some crits, but not as many. And that's Hop 2 down. That is the last Hop fight that we will be encountering in this speed run. And then we just have a nice long cutscene where we learn about where some stars fall out of the sky. We learn about Dynamaxing. That I kind of glossed over that. That's Professor Magnolia in the background. She is the professor of the region. This is the only time we're going to see her in this run as well. But she's pretty cool. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, we have like a minute or so of cutscene, and then we're just going to be walking back towards where we came from. So if we have any like, you know, donations or plugs or incentives or anything that we want to talk about, Jordan, now's a good time.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. We don't have any donations right now, but I just want to remind people that we are raising money for the New England Musicians Relief Fund. It's a fund that's set up to provide musicians and entertainers emergency relief and help during this whole COVID-19 global pandemic, and also to set up a fund for future crises if those occur. So all of your money is going to a great cause, and we still have that incentive for the Squirtle versus Bulbasaur choice, and Bulbasaur is still ahead 79-0 right now. And we've also got a couple more incentives later on in the day. We've got for Sonic 1, if we reach that incentive, Supersonic will get all of the emeralds in Sonic 1. And then for Shinobi Legends, we'll do a cutscene % on that one, which Shinobi Legends is a neat game, so that'd be pretty cool as well.
All right, awesome. Yeah, get your donations in. Great cause. I know myself and Ness probably could sympathize with that. I know I mentioned this during my Bug Snacks run at the start of the marathon, but I'm a musician. I know Ness is a musician as well, so you know, I've come from New England. Ness lives as far from New England as you can get in the U.S. basically, but still, we both could sympathize with the plight of musicians, especially during a pandemic, I'm sure.
Yeah, it sucks. Actually, fun fact, Ness_lore, if you will.
Oh, okay. Lore percent.
I did want to start a band right before COVID happened, and then it happened, and then I have not seen most of my musician friends since then.
Yeah, that is unfortunately about right. And that's, you know, they're having to deal with that. Professional musicians who depend on this to live and to survive and thrive depend on that. So you know, it's been tough. So we're happy to be here to help support that. Yeah, so we're making our way through Route 2 here. One thing I'll mention as well that is unique to this game and kind of has been, I would argue, as a result of like the popularity of like things like Pokemon Go and stuff like that, is that wild encounters are not the same as they are in other gens. They actually, as you can see, you can see them all. You can see them in the grass, which means we don't have to, in a speed run, depend on using things like repels in this run, because we can visually see the encounters with our eyes, so we don't have to worry about it. We're gonna buy some berries here, actually, for safety, and because we'll definitely need at least one of them, and probably more of them. We buy 11 Pekka berries. We don't need 11 at all, but it's faster to buy 11 than it is to buy like 4. So we just buy 11 because money is no object in this run for us. Mom hooks us up with that sweet cash at the beginning. And then we just buy 1 cherry berry because that's all we would need. The cherry berry, we already have one. We start with one by default. So this is a second one just in case things go awry in this upcoming wild area. But yeah, so yeah, that's just some updates on the route. We're about to be in the wild area. If you want to talk a little bit about what the wild area is, Ness.
I'm not gonna lie, I have very little understanding of what the wild area is because I've never played this game. But
oh, fair.
From what I do know, it's just this kind of like big connected area outside of like the main part of the map, or maybe it's a city, where there's gonna be a bunch of Pokemon that range from very weak to very high level. I think like once you first get access to it, the highest level you can see is like 40 something, 50 something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the levels go higher than that. We do want to encounter some to grind some, hopefully, or to death warp, because that's also really fast in this because the wild area is so massive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you basically nailed it. So basically, the wild area is an area that's in between. So like, if you played Pokemon games before, typically you go to a town. There are routes in between the towns where there are wild, grass patches to catch Pokemon and all that. Then you get to another town, and this game has some of that as well. But it also has this wild area, which is like this large, huge, expansive area that's like in between all of the towns. So and it has all kinds of different like environments. Like there's a desert area, there's a snowy area, there's all kinds of different things. And based on the weather, based on the day, the time, things like that, you can see a lot of different Pokemon pop up here. And Ness teased it perfectly. We're going to be utilizing a lot of different strategies. This is where the route really gets divergent depending on what you see in, but depending on what RNG you get. So we're going to run directly over to this Onix. We always hit this note here. There's nothing we can do about it. We're going to attempt to defeat this Onix. This Onix level like 25, I think, or 26, and we're only level 11, maybe. Oh, I used pound by accident. That's fine. If we defeat the Onix, that's great, because we'll get some nice XP for that for Sobble. If we die to the Onix, that's also okay. We're going to utilize a different strategy. So it's going to be entirely dependent on what the Onix gives us here. And luckily enough for us, we're going to be defeating Onix, which means we're going to bump up a few levels here with Sobble. And we also didn't even get hit, which is interesting. And we're going to learn Water Pulse over Growl here. This is actually a recent addition to the route. Typically, when we were doing the Ninetales route, we would very specifically depend on dying here to the Onix and, for an important Death Warp. But we're doing something a little bit different because, as you can see, sometimes the Onix doesn't want to hit you at all. The Onix has 2 moves that do damage and 2 moves that don't do damage. One of its damaging moves out of the 2 will one-shot you, and the other one will 2-shot you. So there's a lot of variance in time as to what can happen here, and we don't have time for this. Basically, we want to be able to adjust on the fly depending on what we get. And those things can vary. So we're going to walk over here. We're going to be looking for some Vulpix, which can vary on spawning. They're a little bit more rare. There's one there. And we're going to hope, we need it to be at least level 10. We're going to hope it's level 12 or 11, preferably. That's fine. We'll take that. We'll take a level 11. That's good. We're going to hit it with a Water Pulse and then catch it. You might be thinking, oh, Water Pulse, that's going to crush this Vulpix, right? But not necessarily, because we are in a drought area right now, which not only boosts the attack power of fire-type moves, but it weakens water-type moves. So it significantly weakens the power of my Water Pulse, but it still gives it enough power that it makes it so that this Vulpix is easier to catch. All right, so we got the Vulpix here. We're also gonna run over this way We're going to get around these so we don't hit any extra encounters. And you can see that bridge all the way off in the distance on to the right of the screen there. We're going to cross that bridge, and we're going to go get a Firestone. As Ness set up right at the top. We're going to be evolving our Vulpix pretty much right away. And it's a little bit OP to do it with a stone, because we get to utilize basically whatever move we want from Ninetales' move pool as soon as we get to a Pokemon Center and change the moves. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty bonkers in general that you're allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, obviously, this is also very divergent from if we were just doing just the Sobble route, right? So the just Sobble route depends on you defeating that Onix for one. So you need to get some experience. You actually save before it in case you die. Because you really need that Onix XP. And then you have to get a few other key items. So actually the wild area is faster with Sobble, but then it slows down other areas because we don't have, you know, a legendary move pool and things like that. And you have to set up more things with more items. So this route can be in competition directly with the Sobble route. Even though I believe the Sobble route currently has record, this route theoretically could push that. Oh, whoops, I forgot that we have 2 Pokemon here. I should have deposited one.
Yeah, I think I don't know for sure, but I think like on average, Vulpix is faster than Sobble just because Sobble has so much variance.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sobble, I'm almost positive has record. And I think at a peak could be faster, but definitely Vulpix is a lot more safe. And I like Vulpix, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's also just like cooler. I think like just to do something different than the norm, which is, you know, most Pokemon runs are like you get your starter and you plow through the game with your starter. A vast majority of them are like that. And this is just a little bit more interesting in my opinion. You might see me also glance off to the right here. So I'm looking at a lot of different things. I'm looking at stat ranges and stuff like that, whether or not I should be using a rare candy or not, depending on what I see and things like that. There's a lot of variance that can happen here. One neat feature that we haven't talked about yet is in this game, it also gives us the ability to utilize your Pokemon box wherever you are. You don't have to go to a Pokemon Center to do it, which is really good. Speeds things up considerably for us. Now we're heading on to back to Wedgehurst, which is the place we came from. There is Klara right there, who's going to be our antagonist for the Isle of Armor. We're not going to talk to them just yet because we're going to head to Wedgehurst, and we're going to get a brand new move pool for Vulpix, like we talked about, or for Ninetales, I should say. Like we talk about, we just go to the Pokemon Center, we talk to the move learner person, and we just learn the 4 moves that we want to learn.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I do want to mention, a lot of the Pokemon runs, like Conception said, it's mostly just plow with starter. That's the route. But in this game, I don't know really what's different because it's usually popular in a lot of the other Pokemon games, but this game has a lot of different alt mains, and this game is one of the only games where like trade alt mains are like really relevant, where you kind of trade in, and you just start from like when you're able to trade, and you can just play the game with whatever Pokemon you want. It's really fun. But the people that like route out like some of these alt mains, they have like so much detail in the routes. Like I've never written a route that's like as good as like the one I'm looking at right now. Because usually whenever I route something, I just have it mostly in my brain. I just do the math, which is very hard in like Manipulous runs because math is difficult.
Math is difficult. You heard it here first. Yes.
Yeah. But this game has a bunch of like alt mains. Like Candy Floss is probably like the most popular one, which is a trade alt main. Where you go a bit into the game and then you trade for a Whimsicott and then you have like boosted experience from it. And Whimsicott is incredible, and I love the route a lot. And also the name Candy Floss is incredible.
Yeah, Candy Floss is a very good name.
Yeah, and even between Sword and Shield, your main is different. Because in Sword, your main is just Sobble, you rock Sobble all the way. But in Shield, what do you do? You start with Sobble, I think, then you get a Growlithe, evolve into Arcanine, and then eventually you get an Excadrill, and you just do the rest of the game with that until you get the legendary, I think. But yeah, even between the different games, just the routes are different, and each one has been routed super extensively.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's even been further. I don't want to say complicated because it's not a bad thing, but there has been more options now since the second DLC came out. So if you're unfamiliar with the second DLC, which is called the Crown Tundra, the Crown Tundra introduced these Dynamax adventures, so that as soon as you head on over to the Crown Tundra, you could go into a Dynamax adventure and get a legendary Pokemon no matter what, always at level, like, I think it's 60, I think you get it at the beginning. So if you run over to the Crown Tundra like we're about to do to the Isle of Armor, your Pokemon are level like 13, you can get a level 60 Pokemon with ease right away, and then you can just blast through the rest of the game. So right. Legendary Pokemon as well, which guarantees at least 3 stats are perfect. So it's pretty interesting, to the point that you have to separate any percent, and now there is any percent with DLC. Because yeah, obviously you'd have to separate those two because you'd have quite the different advantage.
Yeah, but it's still a cool run, honestly.
Oh yeah, they're both great. Honestly, they're both really cool. They both have a lot of interesting strats and things like that. Even with the Dynamax Adventures run, we thought because originally the first time you do a Dynamax Adventure, you at the very end of it you get Suicune. So everyone's like, all right, we're gonna run with Suicune. But you don't even have to go that far. You can get one level into the Dynamax Adventures and just roll with whatever your first Pokemon is that you get there, which is very interesting because it opens up the possibilities of a lot of different legendaries. There you go. We are now on the Isle of Armor, by the way, so we are off the main base game and onto the DLC officially now. And like I said, this is Klara. We're actually getting ready to fight Klara for the first time. Right before we head outside and fight her, though, we are going to do a quick little shopping trip with the clerk and the train station here. We also deposit Sabo, and we did one thing we kind of glossed over as well. So part of the DLC is that Slowpoke. That's a Galarian Slowpoke specifically. We encounter one before. Oops, we encounter one before we get on the train. And you have to catch it. You cannot just defeat it. If you defeat it, it'll be like, do you want to give it another go? You want to try again? And then you have to actually catch it. So what makes that kind of unique of a strategy is that there is a thing in this game, and I think it's been in a lot of gens. I just play mainly Gen 1 besides this, so I have a large gap in knowledge between Gen 1 and then the most recent gen. But this game includes a feature where if you are not the same level of a Pokemon or above, then it's going to be significantly harder to catch the Pokemon. So based off the fact that we were able to defeat the Onix, our Sabo was level 13, which means we were higher than this level 12 Slowpoke, which made it considerably easier to catch. In another strategy, our Ninetales would have been level 11, so we wouldn't be able to catch it with Ninetales. So we would have to swap to Sabo, who's level 12, which is the exact level that you need. So you have to be a little bit, you have to kind of consider what your level you're at. In the Sabo only route, since we don't have any Pokemon to swap between, you would actually get a Quick Ball, and then you would throw a Quick Ball at the Slowpoke to catch it that way. So there's a lot of different strategies you can utilize. Oops, I didn't mean to nasty plot, but that's fine. We're just gonna. I meant to use Flamethrower there, but now that we nasty plot, we can just Flamethrower it for sure, and it should die. Just waste one extra turn, not a big deal. There we go. You might be wondering as well, like, so I just used the fire type on Slowpoke and it got obliterated. That doesn't seem right. Isn't Slowpoke a water type? But the Galarian Slowpoke is not a water type. It is a psychic poison type. It takes on a new typing with Galarian, so we don't have to worry about being not very effective against this water type Slowpoke, because it is not one.
I actually forgot that. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. Fun fact. That's a little lore for you. We also I glossed over the moves that we specifically taught the Ninetales. So we have the move set that we're going to use with the Ninetales the whole time right now. The first move is Nasty Plot, which is a move that boosts our special attacks significantly. Has obvious implications. Flamethrower is the second one, obviously just a powerful fire type move. Safeguard is the third one, and Safeguard is a move that will make it so that for the next 5 turns you cannot get a status change, meaning like you can't get poisoned, you can't get confused, things like that. And then the last one is Fire Blast, again obviously just a very powerful fire based move that we will utilize throughout the run. And yeah, those are the moves that we'll be rocking with Ninetales. There is also this whole side plot that we're talking about now, where there's 150 Diglett on this island that we can find. Obviously, we're not doing that, but you know, if you want to do that, have fun.
Yeah, actually, surprise incentive. If we triple the amount of donations that we have now, I don't know what we're at. Host, what are we at?
Like total donations?
Yeah.
Right now we are at 2,525.
If we get to like $8,000, Conception will find all of the Diglett.
That won't throw us off schedule, will it?
No, you know where they are.
I know exactly where all 150 of them are. I don't. I've never done this.
I'm not at liberty to say whether we can do that or not.
That would go terribly for everybody involved, except for the charity, actually, because then there would be a lot of. Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, because we'd be here for hours. I do not know where they all are. I've never done it. I don't even think in my casual playthrough I picked up one other Diglett. I don't think so. I just did not care about that point. So this is a good point to explain exactly like what is happening in this DLC, right? So we head on over to this island, the Isle of Armor, and the Isle of Armor features a dojo where people are training. The dojo leader we're about to meet, his name's Mustard. Mustard has legendary eyebrows. You're about to see that. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to enter this dojo and we're going to take on the dojo's challenges in order to be deemed worthy to receive what is called the armor of the island, the secret armor of the island. So we're going to be doing 3 challenges, and then we'll see how it goes basically from there. Here are those legendary eyebrows I was just discussing. And you might be skeptical. You might be like, "Oh no, that's his hair, and he's wearing a hat, right? Those can't be his eyebrows." But you just wait. Later on in the game, you'll have proof, definitive, that those are his eyebrows. But we'll get into that later. For now, we actually have to fight Mustard. You might have saw earlier when I deposited my Ninetales for the first time that I equipped a cherry berry to it, and a cherry berry is a berry that heals paralysis, and that is specifically for this fight. This fight usually is scripted, quote unquote. I say quote unquote because it can go off script, it just depending on what Mustard feels like doing. But usually it's all the same moves. He uses fake out first, so we get flinched. Then we use that, and then Meanfu uses force palm. I can get paralyzed, I might not be. And then we're going to attempt to kill with fire blast. Good. The fire blast would definitely kill, but fire blast is not a 100% accurate move, so I could have just straight up missed, which would be bad because then I would be dead. Luckily enough for us, if we die, we respawn right directly in the dojo and we just run back over and start the fight again, so it doesn't waste a ton of time, but it wastes time for sure. And then the Shinx, we just flamethrower. This one's inconsequential, dies no matter what. But yeah, this is typically how this Mustard fight goes, how it's supposed to go, I should say.
Yeah, this is very average luck. Very it's supposed to go like this.
Yeah.
So the more average luck we get, honestly, the better the run will go.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get average luck later on.
You hear that?
Grind.
Yeah, you hear that, game? I don't even want good luck. I want average luck. That's all I'm asking for. I don't need good luck. Just the okay luck. That's fine. Just not bad luck. That's all I need. But
also,
yeah. Go ahead.
Information for the chat real quick before we continue, because I feel like this is important.
Mm-hmm.
The bid war is going to close soon.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close. So right now, Mustard is talking to us about the first challenge, and then we're going to do the first challenge, and then the reward for completing the first challenge is either a Bulbasaur or a Squirtle. So get your donations in if you want to see one or the other. We still have a few more minutes. Speaking of, let's talk a little bit about this first challenge. So you might see we got some sick new duds. We got the dojo uniform on. Klara, our kind of antagonist for this area, she's upset. She didn't get a dojo uniform. She wants one, so she gets one. But then these slowpoke grab it weirdly. But they are not slowpoke. They're fast poke. These are weird pokes. And what we need to do is we need to go defeat those 3 slowpokes because they have each a piece of Klara's uniform, and that is our first challenge. So we're gonna go fight some slow pokes, but really fast pokes.
Speedy pokes, if you will.
Speedy pokes, indeed. And this is specifically, this challenge is where Ninetales gains a lot of time over Sobble, actually. Because a lot happens in the split if you're doing Sobble. That doesn't happen if you're doing Ninetales. First I'm actually going to heal once, just because our health is a little low. That should be good, though.
We'll say those dojo uniforms are really cool. I really like the design of them.
Yeah, they're really cool, and it's faster to keep it on. So that's what I like, because we actually get the option to change if we want to back to our OG clothes, but it's slower to do that. Not only do we have an animation of us changing back, but it starts us farther away from the door once we do. So the speedier choice is to stay in the dojo outfit, so we're gonna keep the drip.
Yeah, I don't know why, but whenever they were designing everything for this game, they just gave everything and everyone drip.
Yeah,
like
everyone is styling. Everyone is styling. But yeah, like I was saying, so there's a lot of time that is gained on this. Oh, Boufflant, please no, please no, please no. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of time is gained here. Geez, another one on Sobble over Ninetales, because one thing that happens here is that Sobble will evolve during the split, which obviously takes time. Another thing is you have to do an extra shopping menu that you wouldn't normally have to do because we have to get even more berries than we normally would have. And then a third thing we have to do is we'd have to pick up a TM that Sobble would use in this area as well, and then teach it to Sobble and stuff like that. All very slow, all things we don't have to worry about. We just go up to the slowpoke, we nasty plot, we hope to hit with flamethrower, and then we move on. Now you might have heard me freak out a second ago when I saw the Boufflant, which is that big bull type Pokemon, and that is because Boufflant are like super fast. Like if you see one in a wild and one spots you, then it's going to charge at you and you can't outrun it. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get hit into a random encounter because a Boufflant spotted me, but luckily it seemed I was able to walk around it, which was good.
Honestly, I was terrified for you.
Yeah, and then I was like, oof, dodge the first one, and then a second one spawned. I was like, oh, come on. Like, what does the game want me to fail? But luckily enough, we didn't.
Not rare. It's just uncommon.
Yeah, uncommon is a good way to put it. There's one point that I know one always guarantees spawns later on in the run, but usually here it's just uncommon, yeah.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate, yeah. I'm trying to decide, well, the critical didn't really matter here, but I'm trying to decide if I want to heal here or not.
That's massive overkill.
Yeah, just big time overkill. We did level up, so I'm going to elect not to heal. I think I could survive another hit if I get one. And then we can always heal mid-battle if needed. All right, so that's 2 of the 3 slowpokes down, by the way, if you're keeping up. Can I hit this? No. Okay, so we're gonna walk around the circle here. It always looks like you could hit it if I just moved a little bit faster, but not really, unfortunately. You just gotta get it. This is the 3rd of the 3 slowpokes, so here we go. Hope for good luck here. The first 2 gave us some pretty good luck. Can't complain. As long as Fire Blast hits, this is pretty good luck too. Please hit. Thank you. Nice. This is a really good slowpoke section then.
Honestly, I was like about to say, I feel like you should heal because if you get a crit, then you're just gonna like die. But I didn't say it because I was like, if it happens, then it's gonna be my fault.
Yeah, you're gonna be the one who has caused this. No, I think. Well, one thing is, oh geez, yeah, Boufflant is back. Crit, like I said, crits are pretty unlikely in this game, regardless of the Pokemon. But 2, it's the only thing that would have killed me is specifically a crit confusion. So he would have had, the Slowpoke would have had to choose confusion, and it would have had to crit. So I thought it was a calculated risk, is what I'll say. It's definitely calculated. But that's
I'm used to things just like where it's like, you know, crit confusion into crit confusion.
Yeah.
And then it happens.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I will say we should close this bid war now. So if we have a definitive decision on Bulbasaur versus Squirtle, now is the time. So do we have a definitive winner?
Yeah, are we at the point where we have to choose now?
Yes, we do. Yes, we are. Yep.
We are going to be doing Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur it is. All right.
Yes. Okay. I almost never see Bulbasaur win whenever I go combat these.
Which is funny because when you're not co-comming when I do this run, I feel like Bulbasaur always wins. So it just depends. I was going to say Bulbasaur usually wins in my case. I mean, Gen 1 starters, I love all three of them so much. You can't go wrong. If I had to choose between these two, I guess I would choose Squirtle, but like Bulbasaur is so great as well. You really just can't fail here.
Bulbasaur is great. I love just the grass dinosaur.
Yes.
With an onion. Oh,
so good. Part. Yeah, the onion is easily the most important part, yeah.
Dude, all of the Gen 1 starting Pokemon are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that was one of the few gens where they just like kind of nailed it with like all of the evolutions and stuff.
Agreed. Yeah. Definitely agree. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna after we gain control, we're gonna do a menu. So thank you so much for donating for everybody for that bid war to get Bulbasaur selected. Unfortunately, now we're just gonna deposit it. So we're not gonna get a lot of use out of it at this moment. But thank you for the donations for it. We're gonna deposit it here, and then we're actually going to. I'm gonna heal for. So this is extra safe. I don't need to heal here, but I'm going to anyway. Oh, actually, you know what? There's one more thing I forgot to do, actually, which is equipped one of these. There we go. Pekka Berry. I could have just straight not healed here, which actually could be fast, but there is a small percentage that I would die if I do that, more so than the calculated risk I just took. So I didn't feel like tempting fate twice. So. No, thank you. We'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But yeah, so this is challenge 2. Challenge 2, we have to find max mushrooms so that we can make max soup for the dojo. Max mushrooms are an item that when eaten by a Pokemon gives it Dynamax abilities, or like progressing towards Dynamax abilities. But in a much better sense, it's actually an in-battle item that you can use as well that is very overpowered. When you eat a max mushroom in battle, it's an item that boosts all of your stats at once, which is really OP. But we're going to get some max mushrooms, and we're actually going to be utilizing them in the speedrun as well. But we have to get them anyway for the challenge, so we're going to be doing that. We're going to make a couple pit stops, though. We're going to run over, we're going to grab this Pokeball, which is a Hyper Potion. And then we're going to grab another healing item a little bit farther from here, which is Moo Moo Milk. Shoutouts to Zelda.
Also, one thing that I noticed that I've never noticed for some reason before, Klara, that's her name, right?
Klara, yeah.
She has like a thing in her hair. And that's literally just like a Dustox, I think.
Maybe it's just a Pokemon chilling up there. Wouldn't surprise me.
It's just like a moth. It's one of those moth-shaped Pokemon.
Would not surprise me if it's just like an actual real Pokemon that just hangs up there. Poison type specialist, it fits. Funny. Yeah, it fits, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I run FF13, and I can definitely believe that because Saz has a Chocobo chick in his hair the whole game.
Seems likely. Seems likely. So the max mushrooms are in this cave here. They're always here, and then once we try to pick up the mushrooms, it's going to trigger the second of 3 fights with Klara. This is by far this fight is free. We actually will stall probably to take damage. That's how free it is. Because we're going to attempt to do a death warp after that, which we kind of glossed over this as well. So one unique challenge that goes with this run is that because we hop over to the Island of Armor as early as we can, we miss out on a lot of things. We miss out on the bike. We miss out on the ability to fly. So we have to utilize a lot of creative things to get us back to where we need to go quickly, or else we're going to be traversing minutes and minutes of land just to get back to where we need to go. So that's why we utilize a lot of these death warps and things like that, because it's a lot faster than walking back with no other form of transportation.
Yeah, it's like walking in the wild area, except like worse, because you have to do it more often.
Yes, exactly. So we're gonna so we safeguard there because this slowpoke spams confusion, obviously, as you can tell. So we want to, you know, not get confused because that would complicate things, and we purposely want to get to a low health like that because of the death warp that we're gonna take after. So don't worry if you were like, oh boy, you know, he is really tempting fate. This is all by design. Even if I gotten crit there, I would have lived, so it would have been all right. All right, and then we just flamethrower to win at this point. Easy peasy. This fight is very easy.
You're saying flamethrower to win, as if you don't do that already for like every other fight.
Well, we do use some, like all of the slowpokes we did, we fire blasted them to win. So
oh, true.
That was a little bit risky again because fire blast is not a 100% accurate move, but luckily we've hit every one so far. So that's nice.
You weren't supposed to say that. Now you're gonna miss like 5 in a row.
Well, we only need to use, theoretically, we don't need to use fire blast at a risk of missing anymore. Theoretically. Now, some stuff, we'll get into this a little bit when we fight Klara for the 3rd time, but there can be some stuff that happens that we might have to depend on it, but as designed, at least in this route, we don't have to utilize fire blast anymore. For the risk of missing. This will all make sense when we fight Klara again. Just trust me on that. All right.
What's the hit chance on it? Is it 85%?
I believe it's 85. Yeah, I believe it's 85. Which feels more like 50%, but we've been pretty lucky so far.
Anything that's under 100 just feels like it's 45%.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to, there's 3 different Pokemon in this cave that we can do the death warp off of. Sandshrew is usually the fastest one, and lucky enough for us, there was a Sandshrew right next to us, and it killed us pretty quickly, so that's good stuff. But we could have also death warped off a Cubone or a Kangaskhan. It just might have taken longer because they have more moves that don't damage. But Sandshrew is the fastest typically. And then that's challenge 2 complete. We're going to be doing this max mushroom stuff. Basically, Mustard just said no one else was able to get max mushrooms besides us. So everyone else failed besides us. That means, you know, by default, we should win. However, Klara's going to come in last minute and be like, no, I got some too. Use my mushrooms. So we use her mushrooms, which is actually fine with me because that means we get to keep ours. So we get to use them for some battling later on. But yeah, small cutscene here, 30-45 seconds or so if we want to do any plugs, incentives, donations, whatever we got.
Sure thing. We don't have any donations, but just want to remind people about some of the incentives coming up later on. So for the Sonic 1 run later, the incentive is to get Supersonic to have to go and collect all of the emeralds. And also for Shinobi Legends, we have a cutscene % incentive. And I always appreciate the times where cutscene % are available because you can see some really cool stuff. So you want to see those 2 incentives, get those donations in, going to a great cause. And yeah, that will be coming up, those 2 later on in the day.
All right, awesome. Yeah, we're just a little bit extra left of this cutscene, but basically what happens is we're going to be entering into the 3rd and final challenge of the dojo, which is just a straight up battle between Klara and myself for the victor. Now, Klara 3, the 3rd fight, is terrible. Only for one reason only. It's actually perfectly fine until the last Pokemon she uses, which is going to be a Slowbro, a Dynamax Slowbro to be specific. The reason why it's bad is that the Slowbro has an ability called Quick Draw, which I think, and I might be wrong on the percentage, but I think it's a 30% chance to activate. So it's not even not even half, it's less than half. Which means Quick Draw is an ability that regardless of your Pokemon speed, it will make sure that the Slowbro goes first. If the Slowbro goes first, that really complicates things for us. So what we're gonna, if we don't get quick draw, we're fine. It's gonna be totally fine. If we get quick draw, we have a chance to still win, but it's gonna be sketchy and we might still die. And like I said, it's a 30% chance. We're gonna really hope not to see it, but regardless, I'm gonna save here because of it. Which, if you're keeping up, I haven't saved at all until now. This is the first time I've saved, so.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but this game, you might be thinking like, oh, I'm playing it really risky. This game is really safe. Even if I die, most of the times I warp back to where I need to go anyway. So it's not even if something really unexpected happened, it wouldn't waste a ton of time. So I'm not particularly worried about it, but this fight will waste a ton of time, because then even if we died to Klara and then came back out, we have to walk back out, which wastes like 30 seconds. And there are also a few items that we use in this fight that we have a limited number of. So if we tried Klara like a couple times and we ran out of items, we'd lose a ton of time. We having to go get them back and stuff again. So it's worth the save here. So this Klara fight, she starts off trying to cheat by throwing toxic spikes on the floor before we even get a chance to move. Luckily enough for us, we equipped a P.E.K.K.A. berry, which heals poison immediately, so we won't get poisoned, which is great. Then we're going to do a large setup on her Skorupi. First, we're going to safeguard so that we won't get poisoned again. And the Skorupi is just going to spam Poison Fang, which is fine. Next, we're going to use one of those max mushrooms I was talking about that boosts the entirety of our stats. You can see attack, defense, special attack, defense, speed, all boosted at once, which is great. We're going to nasty plot here to boost our special attack further. And then we're going to have to heal after this, which is planned. I'm going to heal our Ninetales. Then we're going to use another nasty plot just to even further boost our special attack, because as you can see, these Pokemon are higher level than us as well. And then now we no longer have safeguard, so we need to strike, which is fine because we outspeed the Skorupi, and there it goes. So that's perfectly, yeah, that went as planned for the setup. It can go a little awry because for some reason I'm guessing it's just me getting unlucky. I get crit by the Skorupi often. Which doesn't kill me, but it puts me in precarious health situations, which I don't like to be in. These next two Pokemon she has, which is a Galarian Weezing and a Whirlipede, are literally inconsequential. We will one-shot them, especially since we are Dynamaxing. So here we go. Giant Ninetales.
Big if true, honestly.
Huge if true, and it's true, so it's huge.
Dynamax if true.
Yeah, Dynamax if true. If only we could Gigantamax, but we can't. So yeah.
I'd like you to know that I did fact check you on the quick draw. It is 30%.
30%. Okay. Yeah. So again, it's not likely to happen, but it can happen. I did one run for a Midwest Speed Fest event last fall, Mid-Fall Speedball, where I lost this fight 3 times in a row, which wastes like, I think it's 4 minutes per fight. So I wasted like 12 minutes. And then, yeah, didn't end up finishing the run because of that. But I literally can't predict whether or not it's going to happen or not. I just got incredibly unlucky. All right, so here comes the Slowbro. Get your blesses in the chat because we don't want to see quick draw. We got quick draw, of course. Ay. All right. Hope is not lost. Hope is not lost. Here's why this is a problem. So, as you can see, we're Dynamaxed, right? Because we're using Max Flare, it also creates a Drought, which boosts the fire type attacks. Now Slowbro's going to get to go first, and Slowbro's going to use Max Geyser. That's not going to kill us, especially because we're in Drought. So it lowers the effectiveness of that move. So we're not worried about dying right now. But what? Use Max Mindstorm. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that.
Okay, well, we're just dead, so I'm going to reset. But I've never seen that happen. I've only ever seen Max Geyser there. Wow. Okay.
What the heck?
Well, you've seen it first, in my opinion. Not only have I never seen it myself, I've never seen that happen to anybody else who has run this category. That is bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Okay, well,
mark your bingo cards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's never happened before. Yeah.
That's never happened before.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me explain it because we're gonna have to do everything we just did over again. So let me explain. Luckily enough for us, we're on great pace, by the way. So we could take this death and not be a huge problem. But let me explain what I thought was going to happen there, which is, all right, we got quick draw. Slowbro was meant to use Max Geyser there. When Max Geyser doesn't kill us, but it makes it so that it rains on the stage, which lowers the effectiveness of our fire type moves. So when we would have hit the Max Flare afterwards, we wouldn't have killed the Slowbro because it would have been too weak. But it would have damaged it considerably, like I think half or so, maybe even a little bit more than half. I can't remember. It's been a while. Then we would unfortunately de-Dynamax there because Dynamax only lasts 3 turns. So we would go back down to regular Ninetales. However, we would have Drought back, so our fire type moves would be boosted again. Then what we would hope to do is on the next turn we would use Fire Blast as Ninetales, regular size Ninetales, and then as long as it hits, we would kill the Slowbro. However, you can get Quick Drawed again there, which can happen. Oh wait, no, we need to do the Max Mushrooms. So let me not get ahead of myself here. We could get Quick Drawed again, so we could just die. The Fire Blast could miss, so we could just die. There's a lot of things that can happen to still cause issues, even when that occurs. So hopefully we don't have to deal with this again. But we'll see.
Yeah, getting the 1 Quick Draw is just like extremely pivotal.
Yeah. And again, cannot stress this enough. If we don't see Quick Draw that first turn, it's free. It's over. It's done. We defeat Slowbro in one shot, and then we're good.
And you got crit right
and
there.
I did get crit, yeah. I was gonna just gloss over it, but no, we did get crit.
Oh, you mentioned it earlier. I wasn't gonna let that happen. I'm sorry.
It's all right. But yeah, like I said, I get crit by the Skorupi more often than I feel like anybody else. But it's still fine. Even that crit, like our health is still enough to survive a Max Geyser. Should we get Quick Drawed again anyway, we're still gonna survive that. So Met Dynamax, Max Flare. So if you wanted to get some more giant Ninetales, here's your lucky day, because giant Ninetales is back.
Also, I just like the Dynamax animations because there's just a child throwing a ball that's bigger than their entire head.
Yeah.
As far as they possibly can away, so they don't get squished by their own Pokemon.
I also really like the concept of, so we do this Dynamax, it gets this big epic moment where we have a giant Pokemon just lording over everything else. And then because we've turned off so many of the settings, like battle animations and stuff like that, it's just like a little dink and then it's over.
You know what I kind of wish is that, you know, the original Pokemon Stadium and the announcer and that, I wish they would have put that in here when you, like, you know, Dynamax, and that's it. And they're like, oh my god, this such and such is so big. Yeah, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, that would have been funny. All right, Slowbro, come on now.
I do hate.
Oh my god, magic, dude! Come on.
Again?
Yeah, again. 30%. Remember, I said 30%. 30%.
I don't know what 30% of 30% is, but it's unlikely.
Oh, jeez. Well, don't Mindstorm again. I don't know what that was, but don't do that again. That was wild.
Would Mindstorm kill if it didn't crit?
Probably because it's not affected by the drought.
Oh, true. My bad.
All right.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Geyser. So we're still alive.
Okay.
So we have a chance. We have a chance. Very important thing that happens here that always throws me off is because you know how it works is your cursor is over the last move that you used always. However, when you de-Dynamax, it puts your cursor back at the top. So oftentimes I'll get to this point and then I'll forget that the cursor has moved to the top, and then I'll accidentally use Nasty Plot instead of Fire Blast. But I talked about it, therefore honestly unbelievable. Honestly unbelievable.
Oh my good lord.
Honestly unbelievable.
That's 30% of 30% of 30%.
Oh my god. So okay, so my PB for this is an hour 31. Obviously, as you can see, the estimate is an hour 45. That's a lot of padding, and it's a lot of padding for if this happens, for one, and it's also a lot of padding because we're gonna have to do some grinding if we ever get past this point. So this is exactly the reason why we pad this estimate a little bit, but geez, this is upsetting.
So I just did the math. That is a 2.7% for it to happen 3 times in a row.
Good. 2.7. Good. I love that.
Might want to buy a lottery ticket after this.
Yeah, because I'm feeling really lucky right now. Okay, so take 3, I guess. Yeah.
This is the first time we're getting here. What the heck?
Oh yeah, first try.
So this is Klara 3.
Yeah, this is Klara 3.
First try.
Super dangerous, but you know we're gonna try our best. Oh, jeez. If you want to talk about anything, plugs, donations, incentives, just go ahead and do that. Why I live in my shame here.
No, hey, it's not your shame, man. You can't help it if the game does this to you. But just want to remind people that we are raising money for the New England Musicians Relief Fund. It is a fund that was set up to help musicians and entertainers in the New England area to help with the financial burden of last year with the COVID pandemic. And it's also going to set up a safety net fund for the future in case future crises happen. So all this is going to a great cause, and just want to remind people again about the incentives coming up later. We have an incentive in Sonic 1 for Supersonic to collect all of the emeralds during that run, and also having a cutscene percent for Shinobi Legends. So get your donations in to get those incentives met, and thank you everybody who has donated to this point.
Yes, thank you very, very much. You know, we sit here frustrated because Klara is destroying us, but it's all for a wonderful cause. And basically, what you could say I'm doing is I'm trying to just keep the marathon on longer so that we can get more donations. So it's actually really good of me to do this.
Yeah. And also, if we do end up getting through on this third time, we'll have a moment of clarity.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention this earlier because we were talking about Pokemon Stadium. I hate to ruin the magic, but fun fact: in Pokemon Battle Revolution, you can toggle on and off the announcer, and actually the announcer likes the game, so it's faster to have the announcer off the whole time.
Aw.
That makes me so sad.
It makes me sad, but from a speedrun perspective, it makes sense. It just makes, it makes me sad too.
Yeah, it's like a significant portion, like slower.
Yeah.
Because the game is so long, it's like 4 hours, like 15.
Yeah, it's a long speedrun. But those console battlers, like the stadiums, the Gale of Darkness, the Coliseum, those always tend to be long. Not a lot of glitches to get around stuff. All right, slow bro. Yes. All right. We're moving on.
Yeah.
So stupid. So stupid. 2.7 was that the number? 2.7%. Oh god. And luckily enough for us, we know before the Slowbro Dynamaxes. If it quick draw always happens like before the Dynamax even happens. So I know definitively we're not getting quick draw here, which is good. Yeah, first try every time, super easy. Crit for good measure. Didn't need it though, but it's fine.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, didn't need it, but we got past it. If anyone wants time, hold on. Let me do the split first. I was gonna say I'm gonna give you all some timing context for what just occurred. So hold on. Let me get past the split. Okay. So let's go back a little bit. The Slowpoke split went really well. I actually golded it, and we were about 1 second ahead of my PB, which is good. Lost a little time on Klara too because my PB used a Sobble route, and there's just a variance in the route there. So the amount of time we lost on dying to Klara twice there was 9 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, we just lost 9 minutes.
Sounds about like a Pokemon run.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, we pad this estimate. We're still on pace to go underestimate. So like this is planned for as much as you can plan for it. You know, as much as you can plan for a Pokemon run. I try to pad the estimate in case stuff like this happens. So there is one other significant RNG point that can happen to really mess this up though. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hate to ruin like the Pokemon run magic, but yeah, your PB is a 131 and you're 9 minutes behind that. So we're on like 140 pace still, which is still pretty good for this category, especially like just a no reset where everything goes wrong.
Yeah. And I think that's just especially because everything up to this point went really well, actually. Like there was nothing really happening that was an issue. We're actually going to go in our switch clock here, and we're going to change the date again. And we'll explain a little bit more about why we're doing this in a second. But first, I'm just gonna do that, and then I'm gonna save. Because we are now getting our Kubfu, which is kind of the anchor of this category. So we've now completed the dojo. That secret our island armor of the island that I mentioned is the Kubfu itself. Now what we have to do is we have to train up the Kubfu, and we have to take on one of the 2 towers that are on the island, defeat the trainers in the tower, and then get up to the top of the tower so that Kubfu can evolve into Urshifu, and that is how we complete the category. The reason why we save here is because Kubfu is technically a legendary Pokemon, so that means guaranteed 3 out of his 6 stats are going to be perfect IVs. Or EV, I don't remember if it's EVs or IVs. I don't delve that far into the stats, but the only thing that really matters from a marathon perspective is that the speed isn't bad. Everything else we can maneuver around. So and there's, as long as it's not lower than 20, then we can run with the Kubfu. And it's very rare that it's ever lower than 20, but it's still worth saving, because if I didn't save, then I'd have to fight Klara 3 again, and no one wants to see that for a 4th time. So so we're gonna check our stats here. Yeah, our speed is godly. Okay, great. We have top IV speed even, so that's great.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so we can head out here.
That's a plus speed nature, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's very lucky.
Yeah. So that worked out really, really well. Means we can we're pretty much safe from everything. To be honest, we're gonna outspeed anything that would be a problem. So this is the reason why we changed the date. So now we have to train up the Kubfu so that we can take on the tower to begin with, because the Pokemon in the tower range from level like 23 to 30. We get Kubfu at level 10, so we have to train it up, and we have to train it up hopefully fast. So we changed the date so that it is foggy outside, and that is because it's going to spawn Blissies. There's one right there. Please don't hit the rock. Please don't hit the rock. Please don't hit the rock. Okay, good. Why Blissies? One, Blissies are relatively easy to defeat because they are fighting type moves are super effective against them. So that's one reason. 2, as you're about to see, Blissies are big old sacks of experience points. We're going to defeat this level 11 Blissey, which is only 1 level higher than us. Keep in mind, 1 level. And then watch how much we bump up right away. So here we go. We defeat the Blissey. All right. So one level higher than us, Blissey bumped us up 4 levels. Yeah, so they're big old sacks of hit points, and we actually, so like I said, they range between like level 22 or 23 and 30 in the tower, but we're not going to even come close to that. We're probably going to leave here at level 18. So we only need to, if we get a high enough level Blissey, we only need 1 more. We might need 2 more depending on, what spawns we get. The problem with depending on this, we need to do this because grinding on these other lower level Pokemon is just not viable. They don't give anywhere near the amount of XP. But the problem is that the Blissies are a 2% spawn encounter rate. So that's pretty small. Now, granted, it's 2% any given spot in the grass, so it's not like I have 2% chance this entire time. It's every time a Pokemon pops up, it's a 2% that it's going to be Blissey. However, it's still relatively unlikely. So we have to just kind of meander here in the grass until we get some Blissies here. This is also the reason why we pick up the rare candy that very near the beginning of the run, because depending on what level Blissies we might get, it's obviously faster to just use a rare candy if we're close enough as opposed to fighting another Blissey. Okay, all right, we got it. I was a little nervous. If the Blissey gets towards a barrier, like a wall or something, it's going to disappear, which is obviously a problem. We don't want it to disappear. Level 10, we might have to get a 3rd one. Yeah, these are low level ones. I was hoping for like at least like 14.
Yeah, they go all the way up to 14 and they start at 10.
They go up to 15 even.
11 and 10. Oh, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 to 15, which is a big range, and we got 11 and 10 so far.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a third one.
At least we got Blissies. So.
Yeah. At least they're popping up. I've had many marathon runs, and Ness can attest to this, where I'm just wandering here for a couple minutes and nothing is popping up. So we've gotten 2 so far, which is not, terribly unlucky. But
you're getting pretty lucky from.
Yeah, we just
how lucky you usually get.
We just need a third one, unfortunately. And if honestly, if it's another level 10, we might need a 4th one. We'll see. Which is just pretty unlucky. But as long as it's not level 10, I think we'll be fine. But I'll have to kind of evaluate once I see what our experience level is. No. Okay, we got it.
Yeah, a good way to quantify like the Blissey luck is, do you remember those 2 Clarifites in like every patch, like every like individual like patch of grass? You have to hope for that. So like in the middle patch, you're getting it like a bunch, but it's still unlikely.
Yeah, there's a lot of chances, but each chance is still heavily unlikely to happen, basically. Okay, we're good now. We can move on. That was a level 15. Yeah, that was a level 15 Blissey, so we can we're good. We're in good shape. So not only do we have to train up the Kubfu, but we cannot. Mustard will not even allow us to take on any of the towers unless the Kubfu and I have bonded, which is directly related to the Kubfu's friendship level. Now, luckily enough for us. Okay, all right, we're good. Luckily enough for us, no, stop. The game establishes these points on the map where you and your Kubfu can just go and like kind of like look out over the horizon and bond over the scenery, I guess is kind of the implication. So it establishes that for us so we don't have to like use items that boost our friendship level or just like grind and hope that, the victories are enough or something like that. So they give us ways to boost it relatively quickly. We have to hit 3 of these points in order for our friendship level to get high enough. So here's the first one. It's a kind of a dark cave. I don't know if I'd bond with somebody over it, but it's not the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But
the water's nice.
The water is nice. The lighting is kind of nice, because we're in that like twilight time, so it's pretty nice.
I almost want to see this, but like ray traced.
Yeah, that would be nice. Get some graphical improvements.
Yeah.
All right.
That's definitely bonding. I feel like that was bonding.
Yeah, I'll say that one's fine. I would say it's debatable, but I lean towards fine. The second one is also pretty good, so we're going to get to the second one here in a second. Unfortunately, this segment is a lot of walking to areas we've already been to, more or less. So this is one of the slower segments because, again, we don't have any ability to fast travel or use a bike or anything like that to speed this up. So we just have to straight up walk. Nothing we can do to get around this. But we get
also,
to see.
I want to mention that you just completely glossed over that Wooper that we found. There was a Wooper.
This. Yes, Wooper. Shoutouts to Wooper. Great Pokemon.
A1, phenomenal Pokemon.
Absolutely. Some conception lore. We had some nest lore, some conception lore. I've only ever caught 1 shiny Pokemon in my entire Pokemon career. That's not like, programmed in like the Gyarados and Lake of Rage and stuff like that. 1 ever, and it was a Wooper when I first got my silver cartridge when I was a child.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. The only ever one. I've never caught another shiny Pokemon. I've never even seen another one. But I also haven't tried, so.
Yeah, I
honestly,
never did that.
Yeah, I'm kind of a similar way. Like, the only shiny I've like ever seen like naturally was, well, it was a Rattata in Gen 5 in Black and White 2.
Black and White 2, wow. And it's a Rattata, so you're like, how excited can you be,
Yeah, I like wasn't excited, but it was like, on the DS screen, it looked like a golden Rattata. I was like, oh wait, that's actually kind of hype.
Yeah.
And then I like looked it up recently. And it was like it's actually just like green, and the DS screen kind of sucks.
Oh, got it.
It looks like cute green.
Got it. All right, yeah, DS screens. But yeah, so that was the second point, which I think that one was also pretty good. You got the water in the distance, you got these cliffs or bluffs or whatever you want to call them. Very, very nice. 10 out of 10 would bond with a Kubfu if I saw that.
Yeah, that one's just like actually the best one.
Mm-hmm.
That one's A1.
And then we're going to go to the third one, which is through the cave where we got the max mushrooms before. And the third one is it's something.
It's good.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's good at all.
It's phenomenal.
I'm sensing a lot of hesitation in both of your voices right now.
Yeah. It's great. I would bond for sure. Here it is. Here's the third one.
Oh.
Tell me how much you would enjoy this, chat. Look how beautiful the scenery is.
Oh yeah, this is beautiful.
A dusty, foggy landscape of just some sand. But you know, that's enough to get us over the edge. But we're not quite done in this area yet. Before we're going to utilize a death warp, we're going to pick up two very important items here. Which the first one here is the Rocky helmet. Say hi to this Rhyperior. We're gonna see him in a second. And then the second item we're gonna pick up over here is a TR for reversal. If you're unfamiliar, I don't remember at what gen they changed this, but TM has become not one-time use at some point, and then you can multi-use them. But then they add TRs in, which are one-time use. So it's a little confusing, I guess.
I don't even know that TRs are one-time use. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, TRs are one-time use, but TMs are not. Where TMs used to be one-time use. I don't know. Confusing. So this is the Rhyperior. Now here, this is the Kubfu. We are ever so slightly risking something. As I mentioned, friendship level is important. If we're not at a high enough friendship level, we're not even going to be allowed to progress. Mustard's going to say, yeah, you guys haven't bonded enough. Come back when you've bonded. When your Pokemon faints, you lose friendship. So I took a little bit of a risk there, only because oops, well, that's fine, we can do this first. Only because we had to fight 3 Blissies, because defeating Pokemon also raises your friendship. And it's also not a terrible risk, because even if our friendship level isn't high enough, the alternative is we have to go into Pokemon camp, which is just adorable. So
I really hope that you have not enough friendship, because I really want to see Pokemon camp.
Unfortunately, not this time. We still had enough friendship, but yeah, that's a risk I'm always comfortable taking, because the alternative is we get to go into Pokemon camp and play with toys. So that's pretty fun. Like, who doesn't want to do that?
We have enough time investment. Like, you can do that anyways, right?
Yeah, here's what we'll do, because I just want to make sure. I want to there are a couple things in the tower that can mess me up. We'll get to Mustard, and I'll save before Mustard, and if it looks like our time is going to be fine, I'll Pokemon camp right before we fight Mustard the last time.
Yes,
dude, Pokemon camps are wholesome.
Yeah, very wholesome, great content. So we taught reversal, and we equipped the Rocky helmet. So let me go over a little bit about what both of these items mean. So Rocky helmet is an item when equipped. If you're hit with a physical move, as in not a special type move, but a physical move, the Pokemon that hit you will also receive damage back. That obviously has its pretty standard uses. Reversal is a fighting type move that does more damage depending on how low your health is. So the lower your health is, the more damage the move does. Kubfu also by default knows a move called Endure, which if you use it properly on a turn that you would have fainted from an attack, you'll survive with 1 HP instead. So the honestly, I think the strat is like super big brained and cool. The really cool strats that we're going to utilize in the tower is that a few different times we're going to combine Endure, where we survive with 1 HP, and then counter with Reversal, where we do maximum damage. It's kind of a really good and unique strategy that you don't get to see in a lot of different Pokemon runs. So it's pretty cool. Now, because we mess around a lot with being very low health, that can come with some challenges sometimes. So we're gonna play it, as safe as we can, but also want to utilize the strategy because it's really good.
Yeah, that's why we need high speed, because reversal is pretty set on how much damage it does. But as long as we outspeed everything, we won't die unless it's like quick attack.
Yeah.
So not really a problem.
Yeah, which none of them have, so that's good. No one has quick attack or priority moves or anything like that, so that's good. Actually, that's not true. The Zoro, the first Pokemon we fight, has Sucker Punch, but we're at full health at that point. It doesn't matter if we get Sucker Punched or not. Yeah, that is exactly why speed is important, because if we use Endure, but then we don't outspeed the Pokemon that we're going to use Reversal on the next turn, then it doesn't matter. We're going to die anyway. So we have to make sure we outspeed everything.
I also do want to mention, just as a fun trivia real quick, I think one of the old world records for this category did have Pokemon Camp in it.
Oh yeah, yep. The record up until probably a month ago or so at this point had Pokemon Camp in it. Okay, so worth mentioning. So like I said, you can choose which tower to do. The Dark Tower is faster and arguably safer than the Water Tower. You can do the Water Tower, but also the Water Tower is ever so slightly complex because it's surrounded by water and you don't have easy ways of getting over water at the moment. But also, it's the Water Tower. You can, so in the past I mistakenly said you can't even get to the Water Tower, which is untrue. You actually can get to the Water Tower, so my bad on that. But it's more of a high risk, high reward tower. This one is more, on average will be faster and is definitely safer. So we take this one.
Did you just admit to going onto the internet and telling lies?
I kind of did. Yeah, I kind of did.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
For shame. My streamer, Conception SR, on twitch.tv/ConceptionSR, go follow him. Lied on the internet.
go follow him, but also lied. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so Zorua, not a problem, especially because we have Rocky Helmet. Let's see. That's fine if we do it this way too. Critical hit. Yeah, defense fell. You know what? I don't have to do this here, but I'm going to anyway. Let's just do the Endure strat, just to be safe. I could have actually probably Rock Smashed and still won here, but I want you to see it. So we would have fainted there, but we used Endure. We're gonna outspeed this Scraggy by a lot. Combine it with the Reversal. Not as impressive because his health was already really low, but you know, you get the idea of how the strat is utilized.
Yeah, but at least it's set up for the next fight now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Set up for the next fight. On these next 3 fights, I'm gonna save for absolute safety, especially since if we didn't get so trolled by Klara, I wouldn't bother, because then all that happens when you lose the tower is that you go back to the bottom, so you just have to work your way up again. It doesn't waste a ton of time. It wastes obviously some time, but all these trainers only have 1 Pokemon. If we didn't get destroyed by Klara, I would just risk this, because if, you know, then I could just go back and it wouldn't be a huge issue. But because we got, you know, really trolled. Yeah, see, this is why I'm glad I saved. I should have just used Endure in first. Because we got so trolled by it, I really don't want to have to start the towers over again. It's definitely worth saving. Yeah, I think technically using, I wonder if that's a range there, because so what happened was we endured on the last Pokemon with 1 HP, but then we leveled up, so we have 3 HP. And even that, a little bit of difference affects how much damage Reversal does. But I thought 3 HP would still be enough because this Inkay's defense isn't like terribly strong. But you know, we're gonna just go for the Endure strat, especially since it'll take a little damage from the Rocky Helmet too. Should have just done that originally.
I knew that it wouldn't do as much, but I thought it would be good enough.
Yeah, I honestly thought it would be too. I'm thinking what had happened is that our attack stat is not like, it's not one of our perfect IV stats is what that tells me. I didn't like look closely at the attack, so I don't fully know what it is, but
yeah, I just know that it was a plus speed minus special attack nature, I think, and then speed was perfect, and there was something else that was perfect. I don't remember. Might have been like special defense. I don't remember what the other perfect one was.
Yeah, speed is definitely got to be one though. Yeah, so this trainer has a Croc Rock. I save here as well because depending on what move the Croc Rock chooses, it might not hit me into enough damage for Reversal to kill, and that's just an RNG chance. So I save here for that. We start off just default by using reversal because Krokorok will always outspeed us even at max speed, so we can't control that. Yeah, see, that is why I saved. So we're going to gonna heal this off. Try to heal this off, question mark.
I feel like you can.
Yeah. Oh, especially since I use protect. Yeah, we're good now.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried that Sand Tomb would be the second move, because then it would trap us and we would get hit by the Sand Tube and then we would be trapped and then we would also take damage from that on every turn. So we didn't want to have to deal with that, but we were able to heal it off. So a little slow of a fight, but not a problem. All right, and I think our time is good enough. I'll do a little Pokemon camp action because we're about at the last fight here.
Yeah. Well, when Pokemon camp happens, I do want to mention, Mustard is painful. The Mustard setup is a little scary. But other than that,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use the rare candy here, actually, just to be absolutely super duper safe, so that our attack is a little bit boosted up. And then we're gonna save, and then we're gonna Pokemon camp, just for fun. No, you can't do it in here. I'll do it after. I promise I'll do it.
Okay.
You can't. I was wondering if you could even do it in here, actually. But you can't. But we will do it after. We'll do it with the Urshifu, which is even funnier.
All right, sounds good.
I can't believe you lied on the internet yet again. Conception SR at twitch.tv/Conception SR.
My career is over.
Yet again.
My career is over. But yeah, honestly, I think it might even be funnier doing it with Urshifu than Kubfu. Because you'll see Urshifu here in a second. But yes, Ness said it perfectly at the top. This Kubfu is painful because there are some things that can happen that are out of our control that are just going to cause us to die. Also, confirmed eyebrows. You can see it here because they're Super Saiyan now. You can definitely see it. All right, Max Mushroom first, so to boost all of our stats again. This Kubfu is going to do massive damage. One thing that can happen here is if it crits, we die. It doesn't matter what our stats are. Cool. So it does massive damage. That's planned. We plan on that. Now we're going to endure here. If he chooses to use focus energy, which is unlikely but can happen, then we would be dead as well because you can't use endure 2 times in a row. It won't work the second time. So if we had used focus energy on the turn we endured, we would be dead. We would attempt to heal it off, but it wouldn't go well. Luckily enough, that fight went as it should, basically.
Yeah, I think there's like situations where you can use endure, then the other Kubfu uses focus energy, and I think you can live, but I don't know specifics of how that works.
Yeah, so only if it happens on the second turn is it a problem. If Kubfu uses focus energy on the first turn, it's fine. It just wastes a turn basically. If he uses it on the third turn, obviously it doesn't matter because you were going to kill it anyway. But if you were low enough speed that the Kubfu was going to outspeed you, and you could hope that it uses focus energy so you survive, that's one strategy you could use, but that's so unlikely to happen. But it's only specifically if it's used on turn 2 that it's going to be a problem. All right, so we defeated Super Saiyan Mustard here. Now we just got to go to the scroll here behind Mustard. And then we're going to evolve our Kubfu into Urshifu.
Is time coming up here pretty shortly?
Pretty shortly, yes. Within the next minute, if not the next like 40 seconds or so.
Okay, sounds good.
Because we still have the animation of it actually evolving, and there's a little bit of dialogue after, and then on the fade out is where time is. So this is Urshifu, a big beefy bear. Which is why I think it's going to be funny for us to use Pokemon Camp with it, but we'll see what happens.
Have you ever tried to push B on that cutscene?
Yeah, I mash both. I mash A and B.
Oh.
Nothing happens. All right, and then time is coming up here, so Mustard's going to deliver a last line, start walking away, and the screen's going to fade out, and that'll be time. So get ready on that timer. And time.
Dude, GG, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
Do you want to know what time we got?
Yeah, I have my splits going here, so I see I got a 142 on my end. So
sweet, it's 142.27.
Oops, I accidentally quit camping. Yeah, so we made it despite getting absolutely obliterated by Klara 3. 3 different times with 2.7% luck.
GG.
Yeah, we made it. Yeah, we made it, and then yeah, we're gonna use this toy here. We're gonna let's throw a ball. You want this, Urshifu?
Oh my god.
Come get this.
No.
Come get this, you large humanoid man.
Look at that thing.
Yep.
Look at it. Look at the thing.
There you go. Just tried to punch me, so I'm gonna back out now.
Looking at,
that thing looks like it would love to eat me for dinner.
Yeah.
This thing is 6'3". I'm trying doing this in person with your 6'3" friends.
Okay.
Taller than Charizard.
That's the most cursed Pokemon ever.
But yeah, very cursed. But hey, thank you for watching this DLC run. Don't go anywhere because I'm not going anywhere, and neither is Ness because we're the very next run that's up as well. Going to be running Grim Fandango Remastered. So don't go anywhere. But if you're interested in running this run, it's very easy to access.
It's actually not true. You are after Tutora.
Oh, okay.
I figured I'd give you a little break, but Grim Fandango will be starting at 3:10 p.m. EST.
Oh, okay, so we have a little bit of a break. So, but still don't go anywhere because the next run is going to be excellent, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, it's going to be good.
Yes.
Stay around for it.
Yes, definitely stick around. But if you're interested in running this, just go on speedrun.com, search. This is actually part of the category extensions leaderboard for Sword and Shield. But we have guides for not only the route that I ran, but also the Sabo only route. So depending on your preference or depending on the version of the game that you use, we have resources for you. Should you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitch, Twitter, whatever. I'm Conception SR everywhere. So feel free to hit me up or come by my stream sometime, and then I'll be happy to help you. I don't know if you have any plugs, Ness, that you want to throw out.
Go follow twitch.tv/ConceptionSR. Maybe go to dullgaming.info if you care.
Yeah, so I'll also follow.
Can you type that in chat so people know what it is?
dullgaming.info.
I cannot. Hold on. I have to follow so I can chat.
So that you can follow Ness_. He has it written out as underscore.
Come on, man. Come on.
But
I'm kidding. You can unfollow me the second you leave. That's what everybody does. When I run marathons like these, like a bunch of people follow, and then like for the next week, it's just unfollow. Like my social blade must look ridiculous.
yeah. I deal with that at work all the time, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, follow myself, Ness_, which you can do by going to dullgaming.info. Dole as in like the bananas. Because monkey ball. And then yeah, we'll see you in a little bit for some Grim Fandango.